I told you the other day about what happened in Hartlepool on Sunday morning. The fact that a man died outside a house that had been housing asylum seekers. He has, of course, this guy's been charged. He will appear in court. We'll find out more when it comes to court. But a bigger issue was raised today by Jill Mortimer. She's been the Member of Parliament, a Conservative Member of Parliament for Hartlepool since 2021. And here she was, standing up today in the House of Commons at Prime Minister's questions.
Every week my office is besieged by asylum seekers. My staff are intimidated by young men. The fact is, most of them are illegal migrants who should be expelled. Enough is enough. I want these people out of Hartlepool now.
I would like to reassure her that this government is doing everything we can to tackle illegal migration and the harm it causes by removing those with no right to be here in the UK. We have excellent long-standing relationships to return people to many countries. We are returning thousands of people more this year than we have done in the past, and we will continue to use every avenue at our disposal to ensure that it is only this country and this government who decides who come here and not criminal gangs.
Well, that's an answer we've heard over and over and over. I'm not convinced by it, and not many are. Jill Mortimer joins me here. Besieged by asylum seekers. Tell us what you meant.
We have an office in Hartlepool, and my staff regularly have groups of young men outside, knocking on the door, ringing the bell, laying on the bell. If they don't answer, because we can see on the cameras that it is more asylum seekers, they will ring the phones to try and catch us out. They will stand at the end of the street and look down.
What do they want?
They want my staff to give them leave to remain, which of course my staff can't do that. I have a fantastic team of very dedicated people in Hartlepool. We've undertaken 9,000 pieces of casework and correspondence since I came in 21. Nothing had been done in Hartlepool for 57 years for people. We've come in, they do amazing work, and they shouldn't have to put up with this. When they contact the Home Office to get an update on these people who knock on the door to find out what's happening with their applications, very often they'll find out that these people have been refused asylum on more than one occasion previously.
Yeah. And you've got, obviously, this was a private house from which this knife attack was launched, but you've got migrant hotels in Hartlepool as well.
We don't have any migrant hotels.
No hotels? Because there are plenty in the North East.
Oh, yeah. The council have done an excellent job, actually, of integrating people into our community. But very sadly, I think what we've got to remember here is that someone has lost their life. There is a family grieving in my town, and that's what has provoked me to have to stand up and say what my constituents would want me to say.
On the broader level, you were saying basically people who come here illegally should be expelled.
Of course. I mean, Nigel, I'm quite a moderate person.
I mean, should they go through the asylum process?
Well, if somebody comes and says they have a claim, you have no choice. Legally, and sadly, these people get all the right lefty lawyers backing them, but you have to go through a process and check. But, the ones that I've got the real issue with, the people that have gone through that process and are still here.
But the problem is, and it's not lefty lawyers, it's the Conservative Party who, despite being the party that adopted Brexit, want to keep us in the European Convention on Human Rights, and that's what the lefty lawyers lean on. Can the Conservative Party, has it got the guts to deal with ECHR?
I think they do. I've got a lot of confidence in the Home Office team we have at the moment under Suella, with Rob Jenrick and Sarah Dines. I think we've got a very good team in there. And I think today I had to speak truth to power, because sometimes you have to be persuasive to make. I think there is the political will on our side of the benches to do this. I mean, look, it's a straight choice. You've got us or Labour. The other side, they block everything we try to do to make this problem, get it solved. And if you're in a straight choice, it's only the Conservatives that are going to be able to do anything, and we are battling to do it.
Well, I'm convinced that you mean what you say. I'm less convinced that the government are actually going to do anything about it.
Well, that's why I will continue to speak truth to power.
Well, and no doubt you'll become, a regular in The Guardian and on Channel 4 News, who will give you a very, very hard time. Interesting thought. Stay with me. Humza Yousaf, the First Minister of Scotland, said yesterday that up to 1 million people in Gaza may have to be offered asylum status, and making the point that Scotland would be very happy to have them. Funny, isn't it? After the Syrian war, Saudi Arabia wouldn't take a single migrant because they were worried about the terror threat. Egypt takes the same view, and yet the political consensus here, Jill, is that anyone that wants to come pretty much can.
Well, I think that, not from my perspective, it isn't, and I don't think that's the perspective of my colleagues either.
No, well, it's the First Minister of Scotland, and that was what he was suggesting. And the man, the Iranian, who brought 10,000 people illegally into Britain, was jailed in Brussels today. He's been given an 11-year sentence. He'll serve half of that. Not exactly the life sentence promised to us by Priti Patel and other Home Secretaries, albeit that was in Belgium.